Well, hello there and welcome to our I've Decided podcast. I'm Kim Martin, founder of I've Decided and host of your show today. Thank you so much for tuning in from wherever you are. Maybe you're watching on video or you're just listening into a podcast. This is kind of like a vodcast podcast because some people watch it on video and some people listen just on the podcast. So we are excited that you're here no matter where you're joining us from. As you know, if you follow our podcast and you listen and tune in, we always have a topic around success, your success. What is it that you want to accomplish? What are your goals and dreams? And how do you achieve those goals and dreams? That's what I've decided is all about, providing you those pieces of the puzzle. So every week, we put out content to our members, and it's geared around a word. This week, the word is willing. And we come up with some really fun, interesting words. And willing is just one of those words, but it is a great word when it comes to your success, when it comes to you achieving your goals and dreams. So the question that we're asking you this week, and the question we want you to think about it, and what Michelle and I are going to talk about, and I'm going to introduce her in just one second. And what Michelle and I are going to talk about is, are you willing? How willing are you to do what it takes to achieve those goals and dreams that you have? So that's what we're going to talk about. There are 10 things that Michelle and I are going to discuss with you. So get your pen and paper. You're going to want to write these down. And I am just thrilled to have my good friend, Michelle Webster, joining me on this podcast this week. She is awesome. This is a long title here, but she works for Princveville State Bank, and her name is Michelle Webster, by the way, and she is the Retail and Business Development Director. In a nutshell, she is awesome. We serve on the Women in Leadership Board together, and that's probably how we know each other the best. We're in Women in Leadership, but she's also a part of NABO, and she is on the board as well, or the committee, for our Pathways to Success conference for women that is happening on Friday, September 15th, which I'm going to be a huge part of, and she's going to be a huge part of. And I couldn't think of a better person to be on the podcast today than her, because, you know, one of the 10 things we're going to talk to you about is learning, continuing learning, keep learning. And how do you do that? You show up for conferences. Yes. Yeah, right? You learn from experts. All right. Well, Michelle, there you go. So that was your big introduction. So just kind of tell us a little bit about you and who you are, and then we'll kind of go through these 10 things and talk more about the Pathways Conference.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Kim. Of course, like she said, my name is Michelle Webster. I am from a small rural community. I was born and raised in that environment, and I got into banking after high school and made a career out of it. Went to school for business management, and here I am. So always serving people, finding solutions to help people is really what I love doing. And the banking environment gave me the platform to do so. When you have somebody that has a problem and they need solved, when it's their money, it's a big deal.
It is a big deal. You're so awesome at it too. And I love that, because Princville State Bank isn't a huge, massive. I mean, this is a small kind of farmers bank, right?
Community. Yeah, it's a community bank. And the community banking system is very different because it really focuses on the customer. Okay. It truly does. We're not there to sell you products to make money off of. It's more of, developing different services around that customer based on what their needs are, and then executing on that, and then growing with them as they grow. So maybe their family grows or their business grows, and they start out small and just need some basic services. But as they develop, we can develop with them, and really listening to them and understanding their needs is so important. And when you take that, you build more rapport with those people and they trust you.
Yeah. I can attest to your service level and your service mind and what you're willing to do to be a successful banker and to help your customers and provide that service to them.
Yeah.
And your husband's a farmer,
Mhm.
so you guys are, which is so funny because I mean we're social media friends, so I love seeing her all bankered up during the week with your business
Yeah.
suits and looking like your banker self, and then on the weekends I see your post out on the farm. It's just that's awesome though.
And it's really helpful for me because our clients, we have a lot of our clients are business, and then a lot of them are rural, and they're farming, and it's nice I can connect with all walks of life, because I do have that agriculture background too.
Yeah, that's fun.
And it's fun. People don't believe me when I say I go home from work and I throw on some jeans and t-shirt and I'm in a tractor. It's not uncommon for me to jump right in. So that, diversified.
I think it's great. Well, I promise you, by the time you get to the end of this podcast, you're going to love Michelle as much as I do. And hey, if you are in a small business or a business person, or your goal is to be a successful business person, we're going to talk about this, but you need to surround yourself with a right team of people. You need a good banker. So I got to give a plug for Michelle out at Princveville State Bank. A good plug right there. All right. So what is the definition of willing? I bet most, when I saw the word, and we create 52 words for the whole year and plug them into the spreadsheet. They're in no rhyme or reason. So I forget what they are. And sometimes, I don't pay that close attention to them until it's time to write the content around it. And I'll go, oh, next week's word is willing. Oh, interesting. And I start thinking about it. And I just go online, to Webster Dictionary, and I look up what the word means. It's the first thing that I do before I start writing any what am I trying to say here? Before I try to write any content, there we go, spit it out, content, I want to know what the word actually means, because a lot of times I have a perception around a word. I think I know what it means, but then I read the definition like, that's a little different than I thought. So I always like to share the definition of willing is ready, eager, and prepared to do something. So whatever it is that you want to accomplish, whatever goals you have, from the smallest to the largest, another way of saying that you're willing is that you're ready, you're eager, and you're prepared to do what you need to do. You're prepared to do something.
And I bet a lot of people don't think about the prepared part. That's probably a part that a lot of people would miss. Is to prepare. If you're willing to do something, you have to prepare to do it.
Yes. That's why I said I want to put emphasis on that, because when I thought about willing, my first thought was, I want to do it. I'll do it. I'm capable, or I don't even know if I thought capable. I would do it. I would do it.
Let's try. Yeah.
I would try. I would do it. That was the first thought that came to my mind. So when I saw that, ready, eager, and prepared, then that added a little flavor to the word. It's like, yes. So are we willing? Are we ready? Are we eager? Are we prepared to do what's necessary to accomplish? Because what I know for certain in my 25-year career in work and behavior change is that we all have things we want. We want things desperately. We want to live healthy. We want to have enough money to do what we want to. So we want our finances to be good. We want our relationships to be great. We have all these grandiose ideas a lot of times, and we want things, but we don't get them because we're not willing to do what it takes.
And sometimes it's hard.
Oh, geez.
That's the hard part.
It's not sometimes it's hard. It's all the time, right? Success is hard. Here you are, you're showing up, right? We show up, we do networking events. You and I see each other often at those networking events. We're working to be successful business women, and we're showing up. You're here doing this podcast with me. That's something.
Trying things new. Because I always say become comfortable with the uncomfortable. Try new things, and you learn more stuff that way. You learn tools for your toolbox.
Absolutely. All right. So I want to talk about these 10 things, right? Because I think this is, again, like I said, we have these ideas, we have things we want. And while it's easy to dream big, it's hard, as you said, to actually accomplish. The challenge lies in taking the action, doing the things necessary. So here are 10 things that you must be willing to do to achieve your goals and dreams. And the first thing is set goals. I mean, obviously, you've got to, in my opinion, setting goals is like that roadmap. It's like laying out the map of how you're going to get from point A to point B. In our community of I've decided, our members meet on the first Tuesday of every month, and we have a monthly goal meeting session where we talk about our goals for the month.
Yeah.
It's that important. How do you set your goals? Like, do you have a methodology that you follow, or do you kind of just plan it out? How do you do it?
I plan mine weekly. I'm a list person anyway. So every week I spend Fridays and Mondays are like my prep days. So I'll take Friday and I'll really think about who do I want to be in contact with next week. And 3 to 5 people is who I want to be in contact with next week, maybe. Or if I have a special project, I have, X, Y, and Z that I put my mind to it to get accomplished by the end of the week. So I have those goals written down, and then I keep them on my calendar, and that's how I do it.
Yeah.
I keep track. And I think it's really important when you do set goals is how are you tracking those goals?
Yes.
How are you keeping track of those goals?
Do you use the SMART system?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The SMART goal setting.
Yeah. I mean, that's really specific is a must. You have to be very specific. It can't be so broad like, oh, I want to run 10 miles this week, but how am I going to do it?
Yeah. It needs to be, I'm going to run 30 minutes every day or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that I don't want to assume that everybody listening has heard of SMART goals. I think most people have, but SMART goals, the S stands for specific, right? And then the M is measurable, something that you can see the success, that you can measure how well you're doing. The A is attainable. Is it realistic, right?
Right.
And then I think that's what the R is for too. Realistic, yeah. So attainable is the A, and then the R is realistic, and then the timely.
Yep.
So SMART goals.
Yeah.
I use SMART goals all the time because I figure if you don't break it down, like you said, it's too big. So then it's like, oh gosh, if I don't get the whole big thing done now, I feel like I didn't accomplish what I wanted to accomplish.
Yeah. And then the other thing is write them down. Keep note of what you want, or have a system or somehow of how you're tracking those. Because if you don't, at the end of the day, you won't feel like you've accomplished anything, or it'll be all just busy work. And then, did you really work on your goals? Did you really get done what you set out to do for the day?
I love that. The second thing is work hard. I mean, that kind of goes without saying, doesn't it? But I think that, we don't realize how hard success is. I think a lot of times when we set out to do something, we think it's not going to be that hard. It shouldn't be that hard. I can't tell you how many times I hear someone say, and it could be at Curves with my ladies at Curves who are trying to lose weight, or man, I can't believe it's this hard. Or it could be getting out of debt. I can't believe it's this hard to save money or live on a budget. It's like we don't realize how hard it is.
Right. It takes focus, really.
Mm-hmm.
It does. That's why it's hard. I mean, otherwise it'd be
consistency.
Easy and you wouldn't do it. Yeah. So.
Or that going that extra mile, right? We always say, go that extra mile.
Yeah. And
I think we're in a culture today that we really do like to be comfortable. I don't know why. And I mean, I'm speaking for myself. I just feel like it, even just when we started this podcast, I'm like, I don't usually sit on this side.
It's okay.
It feels a little weird over here. This is kind of outside of my comfort zone, right?
Yeah. I have a saying is like to become comfortable with the uncomfortable. And then another one is everything is figure outable. And that's a phrase, coined by somebody already, but
sounds like Dr. Seuss, figure outable.
I have a cup that actually has that engraved on it, and it's upside down purposely.
Right.
So everything is figure outable. And I'm a firm believer of that. You can figure out anything. And you really can. You might have to use your tools. It might take you longer, but everything is
Figure out.
You can figure it out. Yeah.
I love that. I'm going to remember that one, Michelle. I'm going to put that one in my, you can figure this out, Kim. You can figure it out. It's figure outable. I love it. It's like stick-to-itiveness. Those are words that, stick-to-itiveness was a made-up word, but it's actually now in the dictionary. Yeah. So is figure outable been added to the dictionary yet?
It might be. It was,
it should be if it's not. Yeah. Eventually they put those words in there. It's so funny.
There's a girl I was listening to a podcast, and she had said that, and she's also got a book. She's an author, and I have her book too, and I can't think of her name off the top of my head, but that's one of her things, is she always would say that everything is figure outable. And they told her, that's not a word. She goes, well, it is my word. It is now.
Right. There was a lady that wrote a book, and she talked about stick-to-itiveness, and people started using it so much that it actually, they decided to make it a word. It's interesting how that works. Yeah. So they will make new words. If you come up with a really cool word that everybody starts using, you never know, shows up in the Scrabble dictionary. This one is very important. The third thing, know your why. If you don't know why you're doing something, how are you going? You're going to get knocked down. You're going to run into an obstacle. And if you don't know why you're doing something and the difference it's going to make, it's going to be very difficult, almost impossible to pick yourself up by the bootstraps. Yeah. It's like, why is it important to you to be a good banker, to build these relationships?
Yeah. And if you're in a leadership position, and I have a team too that I lead as well, is know that if you don't know your why and you can't tell them their why, you're going to struggle and they're going to struggle. So it's really important to define that and understand, why are we doing this? And you think about say on a vacation, you're going on vacation. Well, you're going to Florida, but how are we going to get there? What are all the different stops we're going to make on the way? And why are we going there? And how are we getting there? So those are just kind of some tools that you can think about. But if you've asked somebody to drive you to Florida, they're going to say, well, why? You know?
Why are we going to Florida?
So think about that, is if you're asking somebody to do something, they need to know why.
I love that. Yeah. And they have to believe in your why.
Yes.
It can't just be like, well, because I like it there.
Yeah.
Well, that's not a good enough reason. I like it in a lot of places, but you're asking me to drive you all the way to Florida. Yeah. So it's got to be a better reason simply than that you like it there, right? You're not going to find someone that's going to drive you all the way to Florida unless you have a much better reason, something that they can wrap their emotions around, that they can recognize why it's important for you to get there. I love that. That is so, so true.
And a lot of times we work with numbers, and in business, you work with a lot of numbers, and you got maybe your profit and loss statement that you're looking at, and you've got a team of 5 people that are really contributing to that bottom line, but they don't know why. And they don't know what are they doing that's contributing to that. And so sometimes it's a big picture, or you're in a leadership role where there's big numbers, and you have to break that down for people to understand a little bit more.
Yeah.
And why they are making the coffee for the customer that you need to come back, that they're so happy about the atmosphere. They don't know, well, why is it so important that I make the coffee? It is important. And if somebody doesn't do it, it's not going to get done. And so we all do different things to make it a comfortable atmosphere, or that we're providing as great customer service or a solution, or maybe you're making something, in a factory. But, at the end is, why are your people contributing to that success? And if you don't know it, they're going to struggle to know it too.
I agree. Your why. I've heard this said, your why that makes you cry.
Yeah.
That's got to connect with you emotionally. And of course, this is our favorite part, keep learning. Because that's what we're going to really wanted to focus on today. Obviously, within our I've Decided community, it's all about growth and personal development. So that lifelong learning is huge for me, and even, what I do in my career. And of course, with the Pathways to Success conference, I just think this is a great time to kind of talk a little bit about that, because this is a real opportunity for the women who are listening. I mean, it's a women's conference. I don't think if a man registered, we would be like, sorry, no, you can't attend.
We have vendors that are,
there are men
businesses owned by
there.
men.
Yeah. So if you know, whatever, we're not saying men can't come, but it is geared towards women. It is a women's conference. And I just think this is a great time to talk about it because in my opinion, and this is why we put on conferences for our members within I've Decided, is that is the best environment to learn because it's motivational. You're surrounded by all these like-minded people. You just leave so recharged and refueled. You hear from expert speakers. My life has been changed at conferences, and I am not, you too. Yeah. I say, and you're like, oh, come on, Kim, that's a little exaggeratory. That's a little dramatic. We know you're dramatic, Kim. No, I am serious. Like I have been to conferences and by a speaker or something I've learned, it changed the trajectory of my life. It changed my life. And this is why I think they're so important. So tell us a little bit about that Pathways to Success conference that we will both be at for sure on Friday, September 15th. I mean, we got some amazing speakers.
Yeah, we do. So the day starts at 8:30 in the morning. It's at the Paradise over at the hotel and conference center in East Peoria. And it goes to 4 p.m. So it's an all-day event. We start with a great breakout early bird session with Allison Vershaw. And so it's a great opportunity to do some speed networking.
I love that.
That's just a nice introduction to networking in a comfortable environment. And you get to meet a lot of people. And some people are uncomfortable with that. But as Kim and I talked about, becoming comfortable with the uncomfortable, this is a great place to do that. So many.
And this is not just for business. This is for leaders, employees, individuals, work, full-time moms. Like, this is not just for business women. This is for all women. Like, networking is people, a lot of times when I use the word networking, they're like, oh, well, I'm not really a full-time employee outside of my home, or, I'm whatever.
That's the best time to go.
You still need to network. You still need a group of awesome women around you. Sorry, not to take off on a tangent there, but
that's true.
Everybody needs to network.
Yes.
You need to network. Don't say you don't need to network. Don't ever say you don't need to network. In fact,
I say when I do it, my goal when I go to something, which I love to network, it's part of who I am, but I like to meet 3 to 5 new people every time I go to an event. And sometimes when I'm the person that puts that foot forward, it helps somebody else become comfortable. That's not really comfortable doing that. So it's a really good opportunity. So if that's you, if you love to go out and network, be that person, that buddy for somebody that maybe looks like they're not comfortable there and they don't know anybody. So maybe they're alone or standing alone. That's a great opportunity to introduce yourself. Give that elevator pitch,
just say who you are. What do you love? What are you passionate about?
Yeah. Tell them about you.
So the registration includes the all-day conference, some breakout speakers. Who's the keynote speaker?
The keynote speaker is Dr. Wright. She's from Eureka College.
Yes.
And so she'll be talking
I've heard her speak. She's great.
Over the lunch. So that's a great opportunity. And I'll tell you, every time I've gone to conference, which this is probably my 5th or 6th one, maybe. I can't remember. I lost track. I love it so much. But I've always taken notes.
Me
come
too.
home with so much great content. We got other breakout speakers as well throughout the day. So we have 3 more. You can choose 2 out of the 3 to go to. So if you come with some buddies, break up and go to different ones. Then you can share
talk
your
about
notes after
it.
the
Yes,
fact.
it includes lunch too.
Yep.
And all kinds of vendors and resources that you can connect with at the Paradise. And I don't know, the tickets aren't super expensive. What are they?
They're $75 for members of Women in Leadership and NABO.
Okay.
And then it's $85 for a non-member.
$85. Come on.
And it's a full day. And then, so the other 3 breakout speakers are Denise Moore. She's going to be
she'll be great.
Talking about blazing a unique trail. So that's her topic. Then we've got Lisa Plantanamera. Am I saying that right?
I hope so. I've heard her speak about 3 or 4 times, and I'm going to go to her session again.
Yeah.
Like, I could listen to Lisa speak. She is so good.
Yeah.
I mean, she's in HR. She's a human resources, her background.
So she's seen it all.
Yeah, but she is a fantastic, all of these women are
Mhm.
great speakers, but I've seen her several times and I could see her again and again and again.
And
I always learn something from her, and she's just a fantastic speaker.
That's wonderful too. And then we've got Catherine
Yes.
Spitznagel. She's got her own podcast.
Yes,
and,
Catherine.
She's great at, helping entrepreneurs and millennials and everybody. She's been wonderful too. I've heard her speak before, and I could sit and listen to her all day too.
Mm-hmm. I haven't heard her speak, so I hope to get to hear her speak because I've seen her, I know her, I've talked to her on a few occasions, but I haven't actually heard her present yet. So I'm looking forward to hearing her too. So you guys, come on now. It's $85 for the whole day, and I can almost guarantee you, wherever you work, if you talk to your employer and tell them you want to go to this great conference, I bet you they would allow you to go. And I bet they might even pay for it if you ask them. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm just putting it out there because, or if you're listening and you have a team that works for you, you want to encourage them to come to this conference because it's only going to help you. And you might want to bring your whole team and pay for them to come because.
Yeah, you can get a table.
Yeah.
Table, I think, is $650 for a table of 10.
There you go. Your whole team for $650.
That makes it
awesome
$65 a ticket. And that's lunch, all your breakouts. We have mimosas in the morning, snacks throughout the day. We've got all kinds of fabulous vendors. We have over 30 vendors already. So that's wonderful, from all different services that will help aid you in business, leadership, just daily life. I think it's a wonderful event right here, Central Illinois. You can't get better than that.
Mm-mm.
And close to home.
And you can do what you need to do to achieve your goals and dreams, which is keep learning. That was the fourth thing. We're going to buzz through a few of these to make up some time, but I really thank you for all that information about the Pathways to Success Conference. You can find it all over social media, Pathways to Success Conference, online, Pathways to Success Conference. We'll post it on the podcast link. You can find it so you can go register. But number 4, 10 things you must be willing to do. Keep learning, lifelong learning. 5, face your fear and doubt. I mean, when you realize that almost everybody that's doing things are doing them afraid. When you see people doing things that you're like, oh my gosh, I could never do that. They're probably afraid too. They're just doing it afraid.
Mm-hmm.
They're making themselves do it even though they might be afraid or have doubt.
There's so many speakers that are very good at getting up in front of people, and you're like, oh, they're just so great. And you know how nervous they are? They're scared.
Trust me, they're shaking in their boots. Yeah. I've been there.
They've done it so many times, and they still get nervous when they go on stage.
Yeah, at least for the first 5 minutes.
Yep.
Until you get in your zone. Once you're in your zone, you're good. But that first 5 minutes, you're just like, for a moment. And mainly it's because you want to do a good job.
Right.
You want to fill out, you're not sure exactly your audience yet. You're kind of filling them out. But it's mainly just nerves of, I really want to do a good job. I hope I don't blow this.
Right.
Because we are just human beings here. And, you can have a moment of brain fog when you're like, wait, what was I saying? I mean, I've literally done that when I've done a presentation. I've been like, okay, I just totally lost my train of thought. Somebody help me out here. What was it? And the audience loves it. They realize that you're like, she's just a person that just forgot what she was talking about. They'll help you. You can tell who's paying attention. A lot of people out there are looking at you like, I have no idea what you were just saying. But the ones that were paying attention will start getting you up to speed, and then you can finally remember what you were saying. But anyway, face your fear and doubt. Manage your time. You talked about using a calendar earlier. My whole life is in a calendar. I talk to the members that I decided about this all the time, and all the people that I do success coaching with. You cannot live your life without a calendar. No. I don't know how anybody can live without a calendar.
It's a mess if you don't. And you won't remember everything. And let's face it, you're going to let somebody down if you don't keep track of things. And that's the hardest part. Yeah. If you let yourself down, that's one thing. But when you let somebody else down, that's another. And my kids really had to teach me how to keep myself in check with calendars and time management. And they'll say, oh, you're always late for everything. And I've had to really work hard on that.
Me too.
And
it was so very hard for me to, this is why I'm so adamant about it, because I know if I can learn how to do it and do it well, everybody can. Because I'm like, I see a squirrel, I'm here, I'm there. I'm like, oh, that looks fun. Oh, that look, yeah, I'll do that. Sure, I'm there. But when you start to put it in a calendar, it is so easy for me. If you call me, Michelle, and say, hey, Kim, can you meet me for coffee, next Thursday morning? I'll say, hang on, let me check. I pull out my calendar. I look at next Thursday morning. I think to myself, okay, there's nothing on my calendar. What Thursday is that? Yeah, you know what? I can, Michelle. I either can or I can't.
Yes.
It's that simple. It's a yes or a no, because I know I just looked at my calendar. And then if I can't, I'm like, oh, I'm already booked that morning, but I can do this day or this day or this,
Yeah. And that's something over the years in leadership role I've learned to, you have to slow down a minute. You can't just commit right away and just say, oh yeah, I want to do that. Really slow down, take the time, use your calendar, and find what works for you, whether it be an electronics version, maybe it's an Outlook calendar, it might be something, an app on your phone that you use.
Right.
Or I'm a paper person. I still love a paper calendar. However, it is also in my Outlook calendar.
Yeah.
I do kind of keep both.
I started doing both, reminders. And then now I'm all digital.
Yeah.
Because I use Calendly too. So my clients can log into my Calendly and pick a slot for coaching. Sure. And so guess what? Talk about accountability. Like I literally have to mark off everything in my calendar, because otherwise they can pick a slot that's open.
Yeah.
So I have it, certain times that I can do coaching available, and I have to have everything synced. But it is such good accountability.
And that's where I said, like, you found what works for you. That works great for you.
Because I need that accountability, because otherwise I would probably get wishy-washy.
And if you have too many ways that you're doing it, you'll mess up.
Yeah, that's right. And also, you know what else it does? It keeps me from filling up my calendar too much.
Yes.
You think you're busy all the time. It's probably because you're not managing your time well. You're busy all the time because you're double booking yourself, or you're going from one place to the next place to the next place. I can look at my calendar and go, I'm full that day.
Yep.
I have everything that I need to do that day, or I need to be off by 4:00 that day. I'm blocking everything off after that day, after that time. So it actually allows me way more time for rest, to have moments where I'm not busy. And I put that time in there too. Everything's in there. So,
and it's okay to tell somebody that your schedule is full.
Yeah.
Even if you have nothing on your schedule, you have to have personal time too. You have to block out that time for just clarity. I'll have a time where I go and I walk, and I'll just say, oh, my schedule is full during that time. You don't have to explain why.
No,
it's
you just say I can't.
Make sure that you manage your time wisely and know that it's not only for you, but for your growth and development, but also for whoever you serve. So it's good to keep track of that.
7, make sacrifices. This one's hard too.
It is.
We really don't want to sacrifice things. And here's some things that you have to think about sacrificing. You might have to sacrifice a little of your leisure time. That's hard, right? We like our leisure time, maybe less social media scrolling or less TV watching, social outings. But the one that stuck out to me, that I really thought about, that applied for me, and I put this in here because I had to do this. And I think when we're investing in ourselves, it's very difficult. Okay, so we think about 401k, right? Money comes out of our checks, our paid checks, and we put it in 401k. Do you even know where they're putting your money in 401k or what you're investing in?
Half the time.
I mean, I
trust.
We're just trusting that financial planner, and we assume they're great, and they probably are. But they're putting it where it's supposed to go. We don't really even know where it goes. But when it comes to investing in our own selves, in the things that, we want or dream of, especially our own businesses, especially if you want to start something yourself, oh my gosh, that freaks us out. We're like, I can't invest $1 in that. I don't have the money because I don't know what it is. And I know that when I started, I decided I had to sacrifice short-term financial stability, because I had to use some of my money that I had in savings to start this business. I didn't want to take out a business loan or anything like that. So I had to use my own personal money.
And you didn't know if it was guaranteed to get a return.
It was investing in myself. I had to invest in myself. And so I put that in there because that was something that I had to do. And I do feel like sometimes we have to sacrifice a little bit of our financial stability in order to get where we want to go.
Yeah, you have to have some skin in the game.
So yeah. I mean, you're going to invest in something. You're either investing in yourself or you're investing in another company, right? So
yeah. I think I taught my kids that when they were in school. I told them, I said, mom's a career. I'm a career mom.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to support you, but we're going to make some sacrifices because you have to know that growing up, when you're an adult, there might be things that you can't do because you need to support your family.
Right.
And so I'm not going to be there at every single
100%,
basketball game maybe, or whatever it might be.
Right.
Because I might have another commitment. But I also taught them to be independent too.
Yes.
I wasn't there to
bring
their shoes if they forgot them
or
whatever.
It's like, you better not forget your shoes.
So I sacrificed some of those things, but I also committed to being there at certain times. But there are also times that I did have to sacrifice.
We're on that. We're in the same page on that. I 100% agree. Those are certain sacrifices, but in the long run, this is what I want you to hear. When you sacrifice in the long run, it works. It's going to pay back. It pays back the dividends in all those ways. But success, I said this, I'm like, oh, has that been coined? Because I really like it. Success requires sacrifice. I'm sure somebody's coined that already.
Probably. It's probably on
nothing new under the sun. I need to Google it.
Yes.
It's already on a coffee mug. But success requires sacrifice. Okay. Number 8, have a support system. Again, this is why networking is so important. This is why we've built our I've Decided community, our membership. This is why we are in Women in Leadership together.
Surround yourself. I always say this, surround yourself by like-minded, successful people.
Yes.
You will not be competing with each other. You help each other. If you are competing with somebody, fix your circle.
Yes.
Because
it's one thing to look up to someone and aspire to be more like them because they have a quality that you really aspire to be more like.
That's great.
That is different. Comparing yourself and belittling yourself because you might not be there yet, that is
not acceptable.
That's not acceptable.
No.
That comparison steals your joy. It's just no. Aspiring to be like someone and saying, I really love this quality about Michelle. I need to be more like that. I need to show up and I need to make it a goal to meet 3 to 5 new people every week. That's such a great quality or thing that I'd love to aspire to do. But I'm not saying, oh man, Michelle's so good. I'm terrible at that. She's just so good at that. And I'm just so terrible. That's the difference, right?
That's not cheering yourself up. That's putting yourself down. I think you should definitely use those tools. That support system, no different than I've Decided, is a great coaching and support system and helping you reach your goals, and having the success partners for you is really important.
Yeah. And your support system is there to lift you up when you're feeling down, right? It's that accountability. It's saying, no, you got this. You can do it. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. And, we've had one of our members in our community, one of our success partners, she lost her oldest son. And it's just heartbreaking, but she has said multiple times, I don't know how having this community, having these positive people pouring into me has made a big difference. And it's given her something to focus on, her goals and stuff. Anyway, it can be even in the darkest times of your life. But if you don't have support system, it's going to be way more difficult.
Yeah, it's going to take you a lot longer. All
right, we got 2 more here. Be persistent. Never give up. I'm good at that one. That I'm good at. Sometimes I think maybe I should. I think there comes a point where sometimes there's a point, I don't know where that point is because I've never hit it usually because I never give up. I just keep going.
Yeah. There's times where you finally have to ask somebody to help, and that's okay too. But don't give up on learning and
your
your
dreams.
dreams and those goals, and find resources to help you. If I can't figure out the answer to something I needed, I use my resources first before asking for help. But I said Google's my best friend.
Well, now we have Chat GPT too.
Oh,
It's
I
pretty
know.
helpful. I love that.
That is just crazy.
I know.
I've used it
I
religiously.
have used it a lot for spell check editing.
Mhm.
So now that I realize everything it will do, I will say, "Is this a complete sentence?" And I put my sentence in there. Or like I created my own quote for one of the things that I did for I've Decided, and it was just this long quote, and I wanted to shorten it for my Kim Martin Motivates,
Sure.
page. So I plugged in, "Can you make a shorter quote? Can you take this quote and make it shorter?" It gave me a one-liner quote out of there, and I was like, "Cha-ching!
Isn't that
That's
crazy?
awesome!" So,
It's
I don't,
amazing.
again, this is a total diverse. This is a total sidebar. It's a tool, like social media is a tool. AI, Chat GPT are tools. Yeah, you can make them bad. Anybody can make anything bad.
Yeah.
But if you use it for good,
it's
it's
very resourceful.
yeah. Anyway, that was a total digress. Don't know where that came from, but be persistent.
Mhm.
And there's ways that you can never give up. Let's see, what did I talk about in there? There will be times when you face setbacks, moments of doubt, and obstacles. Remind yourself, I know what I was going to say. When you're being persistent, remind yourself of why. Going back to knowing your why.
Mhm.
When you're feeling like you're going to give up and you're
Yeah.
struggling, being persistent, go back to why you're doing it.
Yeah.
Why are you doing it?
Like that vacation you planned, if you got a flat tire halfway through, you're going to turn around and go home, you're going to fix your tire and keep going.
Right.
You're going to be
You're
persistent.
going to be persistent. You're going to fix your tire and keep going.
Keep going.
Last but certainly not least, you got to celebrate your wins.
Mhm. Yeah, because success has to be celebrated.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why would you do it?
Yeah. I mean, but what we think, sometimes we think so big, it's like, oh, that's not a big deal. That I only did, it's just a small part of the bigger picture. But it's like every single little victory is a win.
It is.
And we have to go, good job. You did so good. You got out there.
Yeah, you just keep putting your best foot forward. And when you're setting those SMART goals and you look at that, and that's those specific ones, and you're checking out those wins, that all is part of it. I mean, all of this leads up to the end is celebrating the wins.
Yeah. Those little you look at it like mile markers.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you pass a mile marker on your way on a journey, you're just 1 mile marker closer, right? So celebrate every single mile marker. I love the analogy of obviously the journey, right? Your success journey, and you can use it in so many ways. And that's just another way, because you can look at those little goals as a little mile marker. And every time you're just marking off and going, okay, I'm a little bit closer to the destination. And that's just something to remember. When we're achieving our goals and dreams, it is a marathon. It is not a sprint. There is a beauty. There is something fantastic about the journey.
Yeah.
And if we get so antsy about the destination, we're going to miss all the fruit stands on the side of the street.
Right.
Don't you love stopping at a lot? I mean, I have gotten the best watermelon on my way to Florida on vacation, just stopping at a side fruit stand, because I'm like, I want to stop by there and get one of them watermelons out of that truck. And then when we got to Florida, we had the best watermelon I still have to this day have not ever had.
You missed it all.
Right. There's a part of that journey that is seeing learning and growth, and the people you meet, the relationships that you build. That's what I was just saying, those little fruit stands along the way. That
Sometimes
just
slowing down for success is okay too. We live in this society now, in this world, that instant gratification is expected. It's so easy. You need something, you look it up, you got the answer right away. However, success doesn't happen right away.
No.
And it's really important to slow down and to understand that the things that you're doing and going through, and maybe even the setbacks, those are going to happen, and that's okay too. But don't let it make you just, it can't stop you. You got to keep going. If you take one step forward, 2 steps back, well, that's sometimes what you needed to learn. And you got to carry on. You got to learn from those mistakes and then move on. And then when you get to your goal and you've achieved it,
what's
you
next?
Can celebrate, and you're going to be thinking of the next thing.
Success begets success. So once you start to recognize that there's a process to success and you start to achieve those goals and dreams, then you just start dreaming bigger. Mm-hmm. You just start going, okay, what can I do next? Oh, I did that, accomplished that. What's next? Yeah. I love it. I just love it so much. And obviously that's why we're here. It's why we do what we do. But well, I hope you guys have enjoyed getting to know Michelle a little bit better and the conversation that we had today all about the word willing. Remember, if you're willing, you are ready, eager, and prepared to do what it takes in order to achieve those goals and dreams that you want to accomplish. It requires that determination, that dedication, and like Michelle said, doing things that are outside of your comfort zone. It's hard, but you can do it, and we're here for you. Yeah. If you haven't thought about becoming a member of our community, if you're not already, we would love to have you. And it's so easy to join. It literally takes 2 minutes. And if you go to ivedecided.org, you can join as an individual member. You could also join as a corporate member. If you have questions, you can let us know, but we'd love to have you. And if more than that even, we'd love to see you at the Pathways to Success Conference on September 15th. We'll have our I've Decided table there. Will be a resource table, vendor table there. You can come talk to us in person and meet Michelle in person. Yeah. And hear these speakers. And it's just an amazing day. So Michelle, awesome. Thank you so much. How fun. This was awesome. Yes. Okay. You guys enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.